please,
Okay.
by Mr. William Shakespeare. Tonight playing Gower.
Hello.
I
lost your voice.
Tonight playing Gower. Am I still here?
Are you saying Gower?
Should I not be?
Your audio is breaking now, kid.
My audio.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's okay. Hold on.
You're a little better.
That was better.
All right. Let me just do this. Okay, you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tonight we are reading Pericles by Mr. William Shakespeare, playing Gower.
Tom Kane?
Playing Pericles.
Me, Bernard Bosio.
Playing Marina, daughter, Tarsus Lord, and first sailor.
Sylvie Hartley.
Playing LYCHORIDA, DIONYZA, Diana, and second fisherman.
Ellie Vought.
Playing THAISA, BAWD, and messenger.
Kaitlyn Mitchell.
Oh, playing ANTIOCHUS, bolt, servant, and second lord.
Valerie O'Hara.
Oh, playing, like we've said this already, like first lord and first pirate.
Michael Janove.
Playing SIMONIDES, LEONINE, and first gentleman, and MYTILENE.
Mira singer.
Playing CLEON, ESCANES, first fisherman, and the TYRIAN sailor.
Swachata Guha Mallik.
Playing LYCHORIDA, second sailor, second pirate, and second gentleman.
Miguel Alejandro Fania.
Playing Thaliard, a knight, ceremone, and pander.
Taylor Lynn.
Prologue, before the palace of Antioch. Enter Gower.
To sing a song that old was sung, from ashes ancient Gower is come, assuming man's infirmities, to glad your ear and please your eyes. It hath been sung at festivals, or amber eves and holy days, and lords and ladies in their lives have read it as for restoratives. If you, born in these latter times, when wits more ripe, accept my rhymes, and that to hear an old man sing may to your wishes pleasure bring, I life would wish, and that I might waste it for you like taper light. This Antioch then, Antiochus the Great, built up this city for his chiefest seat, this fairest in all Syria. I tell you what mine authors say, this king unto him took a peer, who died and left a female heir, so buxom, blithe, and full of grace, full of lace, as heaven had lent her all his grace. Both whom the father liking look, and her to incest did provoke. Bad child, worse father, to entice his own, to evil should be done by none. But custom what they did begin, was with long use account no sin. The beauty of this sinful dame made many princes thither fame, to seek her as a bedfellow, in marriage pleasures playfellow, which to prevent he made a law, to keep her still and men in awe, that whoso asked her for his wife, he his riddle told not, lost his life. So for her many a wight did die, as yon grim looks do testify. What now ensues, to the judgment of your eye, I give my cause, which best justify.
Act 1, Scene 1, Antioch, a room in the palace. Enter Antiochus, Prince Pericles, and followers.
Young Prince of Tyre, you have at large received the danger of the task you undertake.
I have, Antiochus, and with a soul emboldened by the glory of her praise, think death no hazard in this enterprise.
Bring in our daughter, clothed like a bride, for the embracements even of Jove himself, at whose conception, till Lucinda reigned, nature this dowry gave. To glad her presence, the Senate House of planets all did sit to knit her in her their best perfections.
Ah, see where she comes, apparelled like the spring, graces her subjects, her thoughts the king of every virtue gives renown to men. Her face the book of praises, where is read nothing but curious pleasures, as from thence sorrows were ever raised, and testy wrath could never be her mild companion. You gods that made me man and sway in love, that have inflamed desire in my breast to taste the fruit of yon celestial tree, or die in the adventure, be my helps, as I am son and servant to your will, to compass such boundless happiness.
Prince Pericles,
That would be son to great Antiochus.
before thee stands this fair Hesperides. Hesperides. Ah, yes. Before thee stands this fair Hesperides, with golden fruit, but dangerous to be touched. For death-like dragons here affright thee hard. Her face like heaven enticeth thee to view her countless glory, which desert must gain, and which without desert, because thine eye presumes to reach, all thy whole heap must die. Yon sometimes famous princes like myself, drawn by report, adventurous by desire, tell with speechless tongues and semblance pale that, without covering save yon field of stars, here they stand, martyrs slain to Cupid's wars, and with dead cheeks advise thee to desist for going on death's net, whom none resist.
Antiochus, I thank thee, who hath taught my frail mortality to know itself, and by those fearful objects to prepare this body, like them, to what I must. For death remembered should be like a mirror, who tells life's but breath, to trust it error. I'll make my will then, and as sick men do, who know the world, see heaven, but feeling woe, gripe not at earthly joys as erst they did. So I bequeath a happy peace to you, and all good men, as every prince should do. My riches to the earth from whence they came, but my unspotted fire of love to you. Thus ready for the way of life or death, I wait the sharpest blow, Antiochus.
Warning advice, read the conclusion then, which read and not expounded, 'tis decreed, as these before thee, thou thyself shall bleed.
Of all stayed yet, mayst thou prove prosperous. Of all stayed yet, I wish thee happiness.
Like a bold champion, I assume the list, nor ask advice of any other thought, but faithfulness and courage. I am no viper, yet I feed on mother's flesh, which did me breed. I sought a husband in which labor, I found that kindness in a father. He's father, son, and husband mild. I, mother, wife, and yet his child. How they may be, and yet in two, as you will live, resolve it you. Sharp physic is the last, but oh, you powers that give heaven countless eyes to view men's acts, why cloud they not their sights perpetually, if this be true, which makes me pale to read it? Fair glass of light, I loved you, and could still, were not this glorious casket stored with ill. But I must tell you now my thoughts revolt, for he's no man on whom perfections wait, that, knowing sin within, will touch the gate. but being played upon before your time, he only danceth at so harsh a chime. Good sooth, I care not for you.
Prince Pericles, touch not upon thy life, for that's an article within our law, as dangerous as the rest. Your time's expired. Either expound now, or receive your sentence.
Great king, few love to hear their sins, they love to act. 'Twould braid yourself too near for me to tell it. Who has a book all monarchs do? He's more secure to keep it shut than shown. For vice repeated is like the wandering wind, blows dust in others' eyes to spread itself, and yet the end of all is brought thus dear. The breath is gone, and the sore eyes see clear. To stop the air would hurt them. The blind mole cast copped hills towards heaven, to tell the earth is strong by man's oppression, and the poor worm doth die for it. Kings are earth's gods, in vice their laws their will, and if Jove stray, who dares say Jove doth ill? It is enough you know, and it is fit, what being more known grows worse to smother it. All love the womb that their first being bred, then give my tongue like leave to love my head.
Heaven, that I had thy head. He has found the meaning, but I will gloze with him. Young Prince of Tyre, though by the tenor of your strict edict, your exposition misinterpreting, we might proceed to cancel your days, yet hope, succeeding from so fair a tree as your fair self, doth tune us otherwise. 40 days longer we do respite you, if by which time secret be undone, this mercy shows will joy in such a son. Until then, your entertain shall be as doth befit our honor and your worth.
How courtesy would seem to cover sin, when what is done is like an hypocrite, that which is good in nothing but in sight. If it be true that I interpret false, then were it certain you were not so bad as with foul incest to abuse your soul, where now you're both a father and a son by your untimely claspings with your child, which pleasure fits a husband, not a father, and she an eater of her mother's flesh by the defiling of her parents' bed. And both like serpents are, who, though they feed on sweetest flowers, yet they poison breed. Antioch, farewell, for wisdom sees those men blush not in actions blacker than the night, will shun no course to keep them from the light. One sin I know, another doth provoke. Murder's as near to lust as flame to smoke. Poison and treason are the hands of sin. Aye, and the targets to put off the shame. Then, lest my lie be cropped to keep you clear, by flight I'll shun the danger which I fear.
He hath found the meaning for which we mean to have his head. He lived to trumpet forth such infamy, nor tell the world Antiochus doth sin in such a loathed manner. And therefore instantly this prince must die, for by his fall my honor must keep high. Who attends us here?
Doth your highness call?
Ah, Thaliard, you are of my chamber. Thaliard, and your mind partakes her private actions to your secrecy. And for your faithfulness, we will advance you, Thaliard. Behold, here's poison, and here's gold. We hate the Prince of Tyre, and thou must kill him. It fits thee not to ask the reason, because we bid it. Say, is it done?
My lord, 'tis done.
Enough. Let your breath cool yourself, telling your haste.
My lord, Prince Pericles is fled.
As thou wilt live, fly after, and like an arrow shot from a well-experienced archer hits the mark his eye doth level at, So thou never return unless thou say, Prince Pericles is dead.
My lord, if I can get him within my pistol's length, I'll make him sure enough. So, farewell to your highness.
Thaliard, adieu. Till Pericles be dead, my heart can lend no succor to my head.
Scene 2, Tyre, a room in the palace. Enter Pericles.
Let none disturb us. Why should this change of thoughts, the sad companion, dull-eyed melancholy, be my so used guest, as not an hour in the day's glorious walk or peaceful night, the tomb where grief should sleep, can breed me quiet. Here pleasures court mine eyes, and mine eyes shun them, and danger which I feared is at Antioch, whose arms seem far too short to hit me here. Yet neither pleasure's art can joy my spirits, nor yet the other's distance comfort me. Then it is thus the great Antiochus, against whom I am too little to contend, since he so great can make his will his act, will think me speaking, though I swear to silence. And what may make him blush in being known, he'll stop the course by which it might be known. With hostile forces he'll overspread the land, and with the extent of war looks so huge, amazement shall drive courage from the state. Our men be vanquished ere they do resist, and subjects punished that ne'er thought offense, which care of them, not pity of myself, whom am no more but as the tops of trees which fence the roots they grow by and defend them. Make both my body pine and soul to languish, and punish that before that he would punish.
Avoid all comfort in your sacred breasts.
And keep your mind till you return to us peaceful and comfortable.
Peace, peace, and give experience tongue. They do abuse the king that flatter him, for flattery is the bellows blows up sin. The thing which is flattered but a spark, to which that wind, heat and stronger glowing, whereas reproof, obedient and in order, fits kings as they are men, for they may err. When Signor Sooth here does proclaim a peace, he flatters you, makes war upon your life. Prince, pardon me, or strike me, if you please. I cannot be much lower than my knees.
Or leave us else, but let your cares o'erlook what's shipping and what's lading in our haven, and then return to us. Helicanus, thou hast moved us. What seest thou in our looks?
An angry brow, dread lord.
If there be such a dart in prince's frowns, how durst thy tongue move anger to our face?
How dare the plants look up to heaven, from whence they have their nourishment?
Thou know'st I have power to take thy life from thee.
I have ground the axe myself. Do you but strike the blow?
Rise, prithee. Sit down, thou art no flatterer. I thank thee for it, and heaven forbid that kings should let their ears hear their folks' head. Fit counselor and servant for a prince, who by thy wisdom makes a prince thy servant. What wouldst thou have me do?
To bear with patience such griefs as you yourself do lay upon yourself.
Thou speakst like a physician, Helicanus, that ministers a potion unto me, that thou wouldst tremble to receive thyself. Attend me then. I went to Antioch, where, as thou knowest, against the face of death I sought the purchase of a glorious beauty, from whence an issue I might propagate, our arms to princes and bring joys to subjects. Her face was to mine eye beyond all wonder. The rest, hearken thine ear, as black as incest, which by my knowledge found the sinful father seemed not to strike, but smooth. Thou knowest this. 'Tis time to fear when tyrants seem to kiss. Such fear so grew in thought me what was past, what might succeed. I knew him tyrannous, and tyrants' fears decrease not, but grow old faster with the years. And should he doubt it, and no doubt he doth, that I should open to the listening air how many worthy princes' bloods were shed, to keep his bed of blackness unlaid ope, to lop that doubt, he'll fill the land with arms, and make pretense of wrong that I have done him, when all for mine, if I may call it offense, or feel war's blow, who spares not innocence, which love to all, of which thyself art one, who now reproves me for it.
Alas, sir.
Drew sleep out of my eyes, blood from my cheeks, musings into my mind, with thousand doubts how I stopped this tempest ere it came, and finding little comfort to relieve them, I thought it princely charity to grieve them.
Well, my lord, since you have given me leave to speak, freely will I speak. Antiochus you fear, and justly too, I think. You fear the tyrant, who either by public war or private treason will take away your life. Therefore, my lord, go travel for a while, till that his rage and anger be forgot, or till the destinies do cut his thread of life. Your rule direct to any, if to me. Day serves not life more beautiful than I'll be.
I doubt not thy faith, but should he wrong my liberties in my absence?
We'll mingle our bloods together in the earth, from whence we had our being and our birth.
Tyre, I now look for thee, then so the care I had and have of subjects good of thee I lay, whose wisdom's strength can bear it. I'll take thy word for faith, not ask thine oath, who shuns not to break one, will sure crack both. But in our orbs will live so round and safe, that time of both this truth shall ne'er convince, that showed a subject shine, I a true prince.
Scene 3, Tyre, an antechamber in the palace. Enter Thaliard.
So, this is Tyre, and this the court. Here must I kill King Pericles, and if I do it not, I am sure to be hanged at home. 'Tis dangerous. Well, I perceive he was a wise fellow, and had good discretion, that, being bid to ask what he would of the king, desired he might know none of his secrets. Now do I see he had some reason for it. For if a king bid a man to be a villain, he's bound by the indenture of his oath to be one. Oh, hush! Here comes the lords of Tyre.
Enter Helicanus and Escanes with the lords of Tyre.
You shall not need, my fellow peers of Tyre, further to question me of your king's departure. His sealed commission left in trust with me doth speak sufficiently. He's gone to travel.
How? The king gone?
If further yet you will be satisfied, why, as it were unlicensed of your loves, he would depart. I'll give some light unto you. Being at Antioch...
What, from Antioch?
Royal Antiochus, on what cause I know not, took some displeasure at him. At least he judged it so. And doubting lest that he had erred or sinned, to show his sorrow, he'd correct himself. So puts himself onto the shipman's toil, with whom each minute threatens life or death.
Oh, well, I perceive I shall not be hanged now, although I would. But since he's gone, the king's ears it must please. He escaped land to perish at the sea. I'll present myself. Peace to the lords of Tyre.
Lord Thaliard from Antiochus is welcome.
From him I come with message unto princely Pericles, but since my landing I have understood your lord has betook himself to unknown travels. My message must return from whence it came.
We have no reason to desire it. Commend to our master, not to us. Yet, ere you shall depart, this we desire. As friends to Antioch, we may feast entire.
Scene 4, Tarsus. A room in the governor's house. Enter Cleon, the governor of Tarsus, with DIONYZA and others.
My DIONYZA, shall we rest us here, and by relating tales of others' griefs, see if 'twill teach us to forget our own?
That were to blow at fire and hope to quench it. For who digs hills because they do aspire, throws down one mountain to cast up a higher. O my distressed lord, even such our griefs are.
O DIONYZA, who wanteth food, and will not say he wants it, or can conceal his hunger till he famish. Our tongues and sorrows so do sound deep, our woes into the air, our eyes do weep till lungs fetch breath that may proclaim them louder, that if heaven slumber while their creatures want, they may awake their helps to comfort them. I'll then discourse our woes, felt several years, and wanting breath to speak, help me with tears.
I will do my best, sir.
This Tarsus, for which I have the government, a city on whom plenty held full hand, for riches steward herself even in the streets, whose towers bore heads so high they kissed the clouds, and strangers ne'er beheld but wondered at, whose men and dames so jetted and adorned, like one another's glass to trim them by. Their tables were stored full to glad the sight, and not so much to feed on as delight. All poverty was scorned, and pride so great, the name of hell grew odious to repeat.
Oh, 'tis too true.
But see what heaven can do by this our change. These mouths who but of late earth, sea, and air were all too little to content and please, although they gave their creatures in abundance, as houses are defiled for want of use, they are now starved for want of exercise. Those palates who not yet to summer's younger must have inventions to delight the taste, would now be glad of bread and beg of it. Those mothers who to nuzzle up their babes thought not too curious are ready now to eat those little darlings whom they loved. So sharp are hunger's teeth that man and wife draw lots who first shall die to lengthen life. Here stands a lord, and there a lady weeping. Here many sink, yet those which see them fall have scarce strength left to give them burial. Is not this true?
Our cheeks and hollow eyes do witness it.
Oh, let those cities that of plenty's cup and her prosperities so largely test, with their superfluous riots hear these tears, the misery of Tarsus may be theirs.
Where is the Lord Governor?
Here, speak out thy sorrows which thou bringst in haste, for comfort is too far for us to expect.
We have descried upon our neighboring shore a portly sail of ships make hitherward.
I thought as much. One sorrow never comes but brings an heir that may succeed as his inheritor, and so in ours, some neighboring nation taking advantage of our misery hath stuffed these hollow vessels with their power to beat us down, the which are down already, and make a conquest of unhappy men, whereas no glory is God to overcome.
That's the least fear, for by the semblance of their white flags displayed, they bring us peace and come to us as favors, not as foes.
Thou speak'st like hymns untutored to repeat. Who makes the fairest show means most deceit. But bring they what they will and what they can. What need we fear? The ground's the lowest and we are halfway.
Go, my lord.
Welcome is peace, if he on peace consist. If wars, we are unable to resist.
Enter Pericles with attendants.
Lord Governor, for so we hear you are, let not our ships and number of our men be like a beacon fire to amaze your eyes. We have heard your miseries as far as Tyre, and see the desolation of your streets. Nor come we to add sorrow to your tears, but to relieve them of their heavy load. And these our ships, you haply may think, are like the Trojan horse was stuffed within with bloody veins expecting overthrow, and are stored with corn to make your needy bread, and give them life whom hunger starved half dead.
The gods of Greece protect you and will pray for you.
Now arise, I pray you, rise. We do not look for reverence, but to love and harborage for ourselves, our ships and men.
The which when any shall not gratify or pay you with unthankfulness in thought, be it our wives, our children, or ourselves, the curse of heaven and men succeed their evils, till when the which I hope shall ne'er be seen, your grace is welcome to our town and us.
Which welcome we'll accept, feast here a while, until our stars that frowned lend us to smile.
Act 2, Chorus. Enter GOWER.
Here have you seen a mighty king, his child Iwis to incest bring. A better prince and benign lord that will prove awful both in deed and word. Be quiet then, as men should be, till he hath passed necessity. I'll show you those in trouble's reign, like losing a mite amounting gain. The good in conversation, to whom I give my benison, is still at Tarsus, where each man thinks all is writ he speaking can, and to good Helicane, that stayed at home, not to eat honey like a drone, from others' labors, for though he strive to killing bad, keep good alive, and to fulfill his prince desire, sends word of all that haps in Tyre. How Thalia came full bent with sin, and had intent to murder him, and that in Tarsus was not best longer for him to make his rest. He doing so put forth to seas, where men had been, there's seldom ease. For now the wind tends to blow, thunder above and deeps below. Make such unquiet that the ship should house him safe is wrecked and split. And he, good prince, having all lost, by ways from coast to coast is tossed. All perish of men of pelf, nor he aught escaping but himself. Till fortune, tired with doing bad, threw him ashore to give him glad. And here he comes. What shall be next? Pardon, old Gower. This longs for the text.
Scene 1, Pentapolis, an open place by the seaside. Enter Pericles, wet.
Yet cease your ire, you angry stars of the heaven. Wind, rain, and thunder, remember earthly man is but a substance that must yield to you, and I, as fits my nature, do obey you. Alas, the sea hath cast me on the rocks, washed me from shore to shore, and left me breath, nothing to think on, ensuing death. Let it suffice the greatness of your powers to have bereft a prince of all his fortunes, and having thrown him from
What? Ho! Pilch! What? Patchbridge, I say.
What say you, master?
Look how thou stirrest now. Come away, or I'll fetch thee with a wanion.
Faith, master, I am thinking of the poor men that were cast away before us, even now.
Alas, poor souls, it grieved my heart to hear what pitiful cries they made to us to help them, when, well a day, we could scarce help ourselves.
Nay, master, said not I as much when I saw the porpoise, how he bounced and tumbled? They say they're half fish, half flesh. A plague on them! They're ne'er come, but I look to be washed, master. I marvel how the fishes live in the sea.
Why, as men do a land, the great ones eat up the little ones. I can compare our rich misers to nothing so fitly as to a whale. He plays and tumbles, driving the poor fry before him, and at last devours them all at a mouthful. Such whales have I heard on the land, who never leave gaping till they have swallowed the whole parish. Church, steeple.
But, master, if I had been the sexton, I would have been that day in the belfry.
Why, man?
Because he should have swallowed me too. And when I had been in his belly, I would have kept such jangling of the bells that he should never have left till he cast bells, steeple, church, and parish up again. But if the good King Simonides were of my mind,
Simonides?
We would purge the land of these drones that rob the bee of her honey.
How from the finny subject of the sea these fishes tell the infirmities of men, and from their watery empire recollect all that may men approve or men detect. Peace be at your labor, honest fisherman.
Honest good fellow, what's that?
May see the sea cast upon your coast.
What a drunken knave was the sea to cast thee in our way!
A man whom both the waters and the wind in the vast tennis court have made up the ball for them to play upon, entreats you, pity him. He asks of you that never used to beg.
No, friend, cannot you beg? Here's them in our country. Greece gets more with begging than we can do with working.
Canst thou catch any fishes then?
I ain't never practiced it.
Nay, then thou wilt starve sure, for here's nothing to be got nowadays unless thou canst fish for it.
What I have been, I have forgot to know, but what I am, want teaches me to think on. A man thronged up with cold. My veins are chill and have no more of life than may suffice to give my tongue that heat to ask your help, for which if you shall refuse, when
And I have a gown. Here, come, put it on. Keep thee warm. Now, afore me, a handsome fellow, come, thou shalt go home and will have flesh for holidays, fish for fasting days, and thou shalt be welcome.
I thank you, sir.
Hark you, my friend, you said you could not beg.
I did but crave.
But crave, then I'll turn craver too. And so I shall escape whipping. Master, I'll go draw up the net.
Hark you, sir, do you know where you are?
Not well.
Why, I'll tell you. This is called Pentapolis, and our king, the good Simonides.
The good King Simonides, do you call him?
Aye, sir, and he deserves so to be called for his peaceable reign and good government.
He is a happy king, since he gains from his subjects the name of good by his government. How far is his court distant from this shore?
Marry, sir, half a day's journey, and I'll tell you, he hath a fair daughter, and tomorrow is her birthday. And there are princes and knights come from all parts of the world to joust and tourney for her love.
Were my fortunes equal to my desires, I could wish to make one there.
Oh, sir, things must be as they may, and what a man cannot get, he may lawfully deal.
Help, master, help! Here's a fish hangs in the net like a poor man's right in the law. 'Twill hardly come out. Ha! Bots on it, 'tis come at last, and 'tis turned to a rusty armor.
An armor, friends. I pray you, let me see it. Thanks, fortune, yet that all my crosses thou givest me somewhat to repair myself. And though it was mine own, part of my heritage which my dead father did bequeath to me, with this strict charge, even as he left his life. Keep it, my Pericles, it hath been my shield twixt me and death, and pointed to this brace, for that it saved me. Keep it in like necessity, the which the gods protect thee from, may defend thee. I kept where I kept, and I so dearly loved it, till the rough seas that spare not any man took it in a rage, though calmed, have given it again. I thank thee for it. My shipwreck now's no ill, since I have here my father's gift in his will.
What mean you, sir?
To beg of you, kind friends, this coat of worth, for it was something target to a king. I know it by this mark. He loved me dearly, and for his sake, I wish the having of it, and that you'd guide me to your sovereign court, where with it I may appear a gentleman. And if that ever my lower fortunes better, I'll pay your bounties. Till then, rest your debtor.
Why? Wilt thou tourney for the lady?
I'll show the virtue I have borne in arms.
Why? Do it, take it, and the gods give thee good on't.
Aye, but hark you, my friend, 'twas we that made up this garment through the rough seams of the waters. There are certain condolements, certain veils. I hope, sir, if you thrive, you'll remember from whence you had it.
Believe it, I will. From your furtherance, I am clothed in steel, and spite of all rapture of the sea, this jewel holds his building on my arm. Upon thy value I will mount myself, upon a courser whose delightful steps shall make the gazer joy to see him tread. Only, my friend, I am yet unprovided of a pair of bases.
We'll sure provide. Thou shalt have my best gown to make thee a pair, and I'll bring thee to the court myself.
Then honor be a goal to my will. This day I'll arise, or else I'll add ill to ill.
Scene 2, Pentapolis, a public way or platform leading to the pavilion for the reception of the king, princes, and lords. Enter Simonides, THAISA, first and second lord, and attendants.
Are the knights ready to begin the triumph?
They are, my liege, since they are coming to present themselves.
Return them, we are ready, and our daughter here, in honor of whose birth these triumphs are, sits here like beauty's child, whom nature got for men to see, and seeing, wonder at.
It pleaseth you, my royal father, to express my commendations great, whose merits less.
It's fit it should be so, for princes are a model which heaven makes like to itself. As jewels lose their glory if neglected, so princes their renowns if not respected. 'Tis now your honor, daughter, to explain the labor of each knight in his device.
Which to preserve mine honor I'll perform.
Enter the first knight. He passes by the pavilion, and his squire presents his shield to THAISA.
Who
Who is the first that doth prefer himself?
A knight of Sparta, my renowned father, and the device he bears upon his shield is a black Ethiop reaching at the sun. The word, lux tua vita mihi.
He loves you well that holds his life of you.
Enter the second knight. He passes by the pavilion, and his squire presents a shield to THAISA.
Who is the second that presents himself?
A prince of Macedon, my royal father, and the device he bears upon his shield, an armed knight that's conquered by a lady. The motto thus, più per dolere che per forza.
Enters the third knight. He passes by the pavilion, and his squire presents a shield to THAISA.
And what's the third?
The third of Antioch, and his device a wreath of chivalry. The word, me Pompey proves it apex.
Enter the fourth knight. He passes the pavilion, and his squire presents a shield to THAISA.
What is the fourth?
A burning torch that's turned upside down. The word, quid me alit me extinguit.
Which shows that beauty hath his power and will, which can as well inflame as it can kill.
Enter the fifth knight. He passes by the pavilion, and his squire presents a shield to THAISA.
The fifth, a hand environed with clouds, holding out gold that's by the touchstone tried. The motto thus, sic spectanda fides.
Enter Pericles. He passes the pavilion, and he presents a shield to THAISA.
And what's the sixth and last, the which the knight himself with such a graceful courtesy delivered?
He seems to be a stranger, but his present is a withered branch that's only green at top. The motto, in hoc spe vivo.
A pretty moral. From the dejected state wherein he is, he hopes by you his fortunes yet may flourish.
If need be better than his outward show, can any way speak in his just commend? For by his rusty outside he appears to practice more the whipstock than the lance.
He well may be a stranger, for he comes to an honored triumph strangely furnished.
And on set purpose let his armor rust until this day, to scorn it, though dust.
Opinion's but a fool that makes us scan the outward habit by the inward man. But stay, the knights are coming. We will withdraw into the gallery.
Scene 3, the same. A hall of state, a banquet prepared. Enter Simonides, THAISA, Pericles, ladies, lords, attendants, and knights.
Knights, to say your welcome were superfluous. To place upon the volume of your deeds, as in a title page, your worth in arms were more than you expect or more than is fit. Since every worth in show commends itself. Prepare for mirth becomes a feast. You are princes and my guests.
But you, my knight and guest, to whom this wreath of victory I give and crown you this day's happiness.
This more by
She places a wreath on Pericles' head.
this more by fortune, lady, than by merit.
Call it by what you will, the day is yours. And here, I hope, is none that envies it. In framing an artist, art hath thus decreed to make some good, but others to exceed. And you are her labored scholar. Come, queen of the feast, for daughter, so you are. Here, take your place.
He sits THAISA at the high table. He gestures to another seat at the high table
Sit,
for Pericles.
yonder is your place.
Some other is more fit.
Sit, sir, sit.
By Jove, I wonder. That is king of thoughts. These cates resist me. She but thought upon.
By Juno, that is queen of marriage, all viands that I eat do seem unsavory. Wishing him my meat. Sure, he's a gallant gentleman.
He's but a country gentleman, has done no more than other knights have done, has broken a staff or so, so let it pass.
To me, he seems like diamond to glass.
young kings to me like to my father's picture, which tells me in that glory once he was. I had princes sit like stars about his throne, and he the son for them to reverence. He's both their parent, and he is their grave, and gives them what he will, not what they crave.
What, are you merry, knights?
Welcome the other in this royal presence.
Here, with the cup that's stored unto the brim, as you do love, fill to your mistress' lips. We drink this health to you.
We thank your grace.
Yet pause a while. Yon knight doth sit too melancholy, as if the entertainment in our court had not a show might countervail his worth. Note it you, THAISA.
Was it me, my father?
Oh, attend, my daughter. Princes in this should live like gods above, who freely give to everyone that comes to honor them. And princes not doing so are like to gnats, which make a sound, but killed are wondered at. Therefore, to make his entrance more sweet, here, say we drink this standing bowl of wine to him.
Alas, my father, it befits not me unto a stranger knight to be so bold. He may my proffer take for an offense, since men take women's gifts for impudence.
How? Do as I bid you, or you'll move me else.
Oh, by the gods, he could not please me better.
And furthermore, tell him we desire to know of him of whence he is, his name and parentage.
The king, my father, sir, has drunk to you,
I thank him.
wishing it so much blood unto your life.
I thank him, both him and you, and pledge him freely.
And further, he desires to know of you, of whence you are, name and parentage.
A gentleman of Tyre, my name, Pericles. My education been in arts and arms, who, looking for adventure in the world, was by the rough seas reft of ships and men, and after shipwreck driven upon this shore.
He thanks your grace, names himself Pericles, a gentleman of Tyre, who only by misfortune of the seas, bereft of ships and men, cast on this shore.
Now, by the gods, I pity his misfortune, and will awake him from his melancholy. Come, gentlemen, we sit too long on trifles, and waste the time which looks for other rebels. Even in your armors, as you are addressed, we will become a soldier's dance. I will not have excuse with saying this. Loud music is too harsh for ladies' heads, since they love men in arms as well as beds.
The knights and ladies dance.
So, this was well asked, 'twas well performed. Come, sir. Here is a lady that wants breathing too, and I have heard you knights of Tyre are excellent in making ladies trip, and that their measures are as excellent.
And those that practice they are, my lord.
Oh, that's as much as you would be denied of your fair courtesy.
Pericles and THAISA join the dance.
Unclasp, unclasp. Thanks, gentlemen, to you all. All have done well. But you the best. Pages and lights, to conduct these knights unto their several lodgings. Yours, sir, we have given order to be next our own.
I am at your grace's pleasure.
Princes, it is too late to talk of love, and that's the mark I know you level at. Therefore, each one betake him to his rest. Tomorrow all for speeding do their best.
Scene 4, Tyre, a room in the governor's house. Enter Helicanus and ESCANES.
No, Escanes, know this of me. Antiochus from incest lived not free, for which the most high gods not minding longer to withhold the vengeance that they had in store, due to this heinous capital offense, even in the height and pride of all his glory, when he was seated in a chariot of unestimable value, and his daughter with him, a fire from heaven came and shriveled up their bodies even to loathing, for they so stunk that all those eyes adored them, ere their fall, scorned now their hand should give them burial.
It was very strange.
And yet but justice. For though this king were great, his greatness was no guard to bar heaven's shaft, but sin had his reward.
'Tis very true.
Enter first, second, and third lord.
Not a man in private conference or council as we spec with him but he.
It shall no longer grieve without reproof, and cursed be he that will not second it.
Follow me then. Lord Helicon, a word.
With me? And welcome. Happy day, my lords.
Know that our griefs are risen to the top, and now at length they overflow their banks.
Your griefs? For what? Wrong not your prince you love.
Wrong not yourself then, noble Helicon, but if the prince do live, let us salute him, or know what grounds made happy by his breath. If in the world he lives, we seek him out. If in his grave he rests, we'll find him there, and be resolved he lives to govern us. Or dead, gives to cause to mourn his funeral, and leave us to our free election.
Whose death's indeed the strongest in us censure, and knowing this kingdom without a head, like goodly buildings left without a roof, should fall to ruin, your noble self that best know how to rule and how to reign, we thus it to our sovereign.
Live, noble Helicon.
Try honor's cause. Forbear your suffrages. If that you love Prince Pericles, forbear. Take I your wish, I leap into the seas, where is hourly trouble for a minute's ease. A 12-month longer let me entreat you to forbear the absence of your king. If in which time expired he not return, I shall with aged patience bear your yoke. But if I cannot win you to this love, go, search like nobles, like noble subjects, and in your search spend your adventurous worth, whom, if you find and win unto return, you shall like diamonds sit about his crown.
Wisdom is a fool that will not yield. And since Lord Helicon enjoineth us, we with our travels will endeavor us.
Then you love us, and we you, and will clasp hands. When peers thus knit, a kingdom ever stands.
Scene 5, Pentapolis, a room in the palace. Enters Simonides, reading a letter at one door. The knights meet him.
Good morrow to the good Simonides.
Knights, from my daughter this I let you know, that for this 12 months shall not undertake a married life. A reason to herself is only known, which yet from her by no means can I get.
Aw, may we not get access to her, my lord?
Faith, by no means. She has so strictly tied her to her chamber that 'tis impossible. 12 moons more shall wear Diana's livery. This by the eye of Scythia hath she vowed, and on her virgin honor will not break it.
Those to bid farewell, we take our leaves.
So, they are well dispatched. Now to my daughter's letter. She tells me here she'd wed the stranger knight, or never more to view nor day nor light. 'Tis well, mistress, your choice agrees with mine. I like that well. Nay, how absolute she isn't, not minding whether I dislike or no. Well, I do commend her choice, and will no longer have it be delayed. Soft, here he comes. I must dissemble it.
All fortune to the good Simonides.
To you as much. Sir, I am beholding to you for your sweet music this last night. I do protest my ears were never better fed with such delightful, pleasing harmony.
It is your grace's pleasure to commend, not my desert.
Sir, you are music's master.
Oh, the worst of all scholars, my good lord.
Let me ask you one thing. What do you think of my daughter, sir?
A most virtuous princess,
And she is fair, too, is she not?
as a fair day in summer, wondrous fair.
Sir, my daughter thinks very well of you. Aye, so well that you must be her master, and she will be your scholar. Therefore, look to it.
I am unworthy for her schoolmaster.
She thinks not so. Peruse this writing else.
What's here? A letter that she loves the knight of Tyre? 'Tis the king's subtlety to have my life. Oh, Seek not to entrap me, gracious lord, a stranger and distressed gentleman that never aimed so high to love your daughter, but bent all offices to honor her.
Thou hast bewitched my daughter, and thou art a villain.
By the gods, I have not, and never did thought of mine levy offense, nor did my actions yet commence a deed might gain her love or your displeasure.
Traitor, thou liest.
Traitor?
Aye, traitor.
Even in his throat, unless it be the king that calls me traitor, I return the lie.
Now by the gods, I do applaud his courage.
My actions are as noble as my thoughts, that never relished of a base descent. I came unto your court for honor's cause, and not to be a rebel to her state. And he that otherwise accounts of me, this sword shall prove he's honor's enemy.
No. Here comes my daughter. She can witness it.
Then as you are virtuous, then as you are as virtuous as fair, resolve your anger.
Well, sir, say if you had who takes offense at that would make me glad.
Yea, mistress, are you so peremptory? I am glad on't with all my heart. I'll tame you, I'll bring you in subjection. Will you, not having my consent, bestow your love and your affections upon a stranger, who, for aught I know, may be, nor can I think the contrary, as great in blood as I myself? Therefore, hear you, mistress, either frame your will to mine, and you, sir, hear you, either be ruled by me, or I will make you man and wife. Nay, come, your hands and lips must seal it too. In being joined, I'll thus your hopes destroy, and for further grief, God give you joy. What, are you both pleased?
Yes, if you love me, sir.
Even as my life, or blood that fosters it.
What, are you both agreed?
Yes, if pleased your majesty.
It pleaseth me so well that I will see you wed, and then with what haste you can get you to bed.
Act 3. Yeah. Act 3, chorus. Enter GOWER.
Now sleepy slaked hath the rout, nor din but snores about the house. Burning coal now crouches for the mouse's hole, and crickets sing at the oven's mouth, and the blither of their drouth. Hymen hath brought the bride to bed, where by the loss of maidenhood a babe is molded. But be attent, and time that is so briefly spent with your fine fancies quaintly ache. What's dumb in show I'll plain with speech. Aye, many a dern and painful perch of Pericles the careful search by the four opposing coins which the world together joins, is made with all due diligence. The horse and sail and high expense can stead the quest. At last from Tyre, fame answering the most strange inquire, to the court of King Simonides are letters brought, the tenor these. Antiochus and his daughter dead, the men of Tyrus on the head of Helicanus would set on the crown of Tyre, but he will none. The mutiny he there hastes to oppress says to him, if King Pericles come not home in twice 6 moons, he obedient to their dooms will take the crown. The sum of this, brought hither to Pentapolis, he ravished the regions round, and everyone with claps can sound, our heir apparent is a king! Who dreamt, who thought of such a thing? Brief he must hence depart to Tyre, his queen with child makes her desire. Who shall cross along to go, omit we all their dole and woe. LYCHORIDA his nurse she takes, and so to sea, their vessel shakes of Neptune's billow, half the flood, half their keel cut, but fortune moved varies again. The grizzled north disgorges such a tempest forth, that as the duck dives for life that dives, so up and down the poor ship drives. The lady shrieks, and in well anear does fall in travail with her fear. And what ensues in this fell storm shall for itself perform. I nil relate action may, conveniently the rest convey, which might not what by me is told in your imagination hold. This stage the ship upon whose deck the sea-test Pericles appeared.
Scene 1, a boat at sea, on a boat at sea. Enter Pericles on shipboard.
The God of this great vast rebuke these surges which wash both heaven and hell, and thou that hast upon these winds command, bind them in brass, having called them from the deep. Oh, still thy deafening dreadful thunders, gently quench thy nimble sulphurous flashes. Oh, how, LYCHORIDA, how does my queen? Then storm venomously, wilt thou spit all thyself? The seaman's whistle is as a whisper in the ears of death, unheard. LYCHORIDA, Lucina, oh, divinest patroness and midwife gentle to those that cry at night, convey thy deity aboard our dancing boat, make swift the pangs of my queen's travails. Now, LYCHORIDA.
Here is a thing too young for such a place, who, if it had conceit, would die, as I am like to do. Take in your arms this piece of your dead queen.
How, LYCHORIDA?
Patience, good sir, do not assist the storm. Here's all that is left living of your queen, a little daughter. For the sake of it, be manly and take comfort.
Oh, you gods, why do you make us love your goodly gifts and snatch them straight away?
Patience, good sir, even for this charge.
Now, mild may be thy life, for a more blusterous birth had never babe, quiet and gentle thy conditions, for thou art the rudeliest welcome of this world that ever was a prince's child. Happy what follows, thou hast as chiding a nativity, as fire, air, earth, water, earth, and heaven can make to herald thee from the womb. Even at the first thy lost is more than thy can portage quit, with all thou canst find here. Now the good gods throw their best eyes upon it.
But courage, sir, God save you.
Courage enough. I do not fear the flaw. It hath done me the worst. Yet for the love of this poor infant, this fresh new seafarer, I would it would be quiet.
Slack the bowlines there. Thou wilt not, what wilt thou? Blow and thou split thyself.
But sea room and brine and cloudy billow kiss the moon. I cannot.
Sir, your queen must overboard. The sea works high, the wind is loud, and will not nigh till the ship be cleared of the dead.
That's your superstition.
Pardon us, sir. With us at sea, it hath been still observed, and we are strong in custom. Therefore, briefly yield her, for she must overboard straight.
As you think meet, O most wretched queen.
Here she lies, sir.
A terrible childbed hast thou had, my dear, no light, no fire. The unfriendly elements forgot thee utterly. Nor have I time to give thee hallow to thy grave, but straight must cast thee scarcely coffined into the ooze, where for a monument upon thy bones, and ere remaining lamps, the belching whale and humming water must overwhelm thy corpse, lying with simple shells. Oh, LYCHORIDA, bid Nestor bring me spices, ink, and paper, my casket and my jewels, and bid Nicander bring me the satin coffer. Lay the babe upon the pillow, hie thee, whilst I say a priestly farewell to her. Suddenly, woman.
Sir, we have a chest beneath the hatches, caulked and bit rummed ready.
I thank thee, mariner. Say, what coast is this?
We are near TARSUS.
Thither, gentle mariner, alter thy course for Tyre. When canst thou reach it?
Oh, by break of day, if the wind cease.
Oh, make for Tarsus. There will I visit Cleon, for the babe cannot hold out to Tyrus. There I'll leave it at careful nursing. Go thy ways, good mariner. I'll bring the body presently.
Scene 2. A room in Ceremon's house. Enter Lord Ceremon.
It has been a turbulent and stormy night. I have been in many, but such a night as this, till now I ne'er endured.
Good morrow.
Good morrow, your lordship.
Gentlemen, why do you stir so early?
Our lodging, standing bleak upon the sea, shook as earth did quake, the very principles did seem to rend, and all to topple. Pure surprise and fear made me to quit the house. That is the cause we trouble you so early. But I much marvel that your lordship, having rich Tyre about you, should at these early hours shake off the golden slumber of repose. 'Tis most strange, nature should be so conversant with pain, being thereto not compelled.
I hold it ever virtue and cunning were endowments greater than nobleness and riches. Careless heirs made the two latter darken and expend, but immortality attends the former, making a man a god. 'Tis known I ever have studied physic, through which secret art by turning authorities I have, together with my practice, made familiar to me and to my age the blessed infusions that dwell in vegetatives, in metals, stones, and I can speak of the disturbances that nature works, and of her cures, which doth give me a more content in course of true delight than to be thirsty after tottering honor, or tie my treasure up in silken bags to please the fool and death.
Your honor has through Hephaestus poured forth your charity, and hundreds call themselves your creatures, who by you have been restored. And not your knowledge, your personal pain, but even your purse still open, hath built Lord Ceremon such strong renown as time shall never decay.
I live here.
What is that?
Sir, even now, did the sea toss upon our shore this chest? 'Tis of some wreck. I never saw so huge a billow, sir, as tossed it upon shore.
Set it down, let's look upon it.
Ah, 'tis like a coffin, sir.
Oh, whate'er it be, 'tis wondrous heavy. Wrench it open straight. If the sea's stomach be overcharged with gold, 'tis a good constraint of fortune it belches upon us. Ugh, how close 'tis corked and bitumed. Wrench it open. Soft. It smells most sweetly in my sense.
Delicate odor.
Has ever hit my nostril. So, up with it. Oh, you most potent gods! What's here? Quartz?
Most strange.
Shrouded in cloth of state, bombed and entreasured with full bags of spices. A passport, too. Apollo, perfect me in the characters. Here I give to understand, if ere this coffin drives a land, I, King Pericles, have lost this queen, worth all our mundane cost. Who finds her, give her burying. She was the daughter of a king. Besides this treasure for a fee, the gods requite his charity. If thou livest, Pericles, thou hast a heart that even cracks for woe. This chance tonight,
Most likely, sir.
Nay, certainly tonight, for look how fresh she looks. Oh, they were too rough that threw her in the sea. Make a fire within. Fetch hither all my boxes in the closet. Death may usurp on nature many hours, and yet the fire of life kindle again that o'erpress spirits. I heard of an Egyptian that had 9 hours lying dead, who was by good appliance recovered. Ha! Well said, well said. The fire and cloths, the rough and woeful music that we have, cause it to sound, beseech you. The viol once more. How thou stirrest, thou block. The music there, I pray you, give her air. Gentlemen, this queen will live. Nature awakes a warmth breath out of her. She hath not been entranced about 5 hours. See how she begins to blow into life's flowers again.
The heavens, through you, increase our wonder and set up your fame forever.
She is alive. Behold her eyelids, cases to those heavenly jewels which Pericles hath lost, begin to pot their fringes of bright gold. The diamonds of a most praised water doth appear, to make the world twice rich. Live, and make us weep to hear your fate, fair creature, rare as you seem to be.
Oh dear Diana, where am I? Where's my lord? What world is this?
Is this not strange?
Oh,
Most
hush,
rare.
gentle neighbors. Lend me your hands. To the next chamber bear her. Get linen. Now this matter must be looked to, for her relapse is mortal. Come, come, and Escapolis guide us.
They exit carrying her away. Scene 3, Tarsus, a room in Cleon's house. Enter Pericles, Cleon, DIONYZA, and LYCHORIDA with the baby in her arms.
Most honored Cleon, I must needs be gone. My 12 months are expired, and Tyrus stands in litigious peace. You and your lady take from my heart all thankfulness. The gods make the rest upon you.
Your shafts of fortune, true though they hurt you mortally, yet glance full wonderingly on us.
Oh, your sweet queen, that the strict fates had pleased, you had brought her hither to have blessed mine, eyes with her.
We cannot but obey the powers above us. Could I rage and roar as stuff she lies in, yet the end must be as 'tis. My gentle babe Marina, whom, for she was born at sea, I have named so, here I charge your charity withal, leaving her the infant of your care, beseeching you to give her princely training, that she may be mannered as she is born.
Fear not, my lord, but think, your grace, that fed my country with your corn, for which the people's prayers still fall upon you, must in your child be thought on. If neglection should therein make me vile, the common body, by you relieved, would force me to my duty. But if to that my nature need aspire, the gods revenge it upon me and mine to the end of generation.
I believe you. Your honor and your goodness teach me to it, without your vows, till she be married, madam, by bright Diana, whom we honor all. Unscissored shall this hair of mine remain. Make me blessed in your care in bringing up my child.
I have one myself, who shall not be more dear to my respect than yours, my lord.
Madam, my thanks and prayers.
Will bring your grace e'en to the edge of the shore, then give you up to the masked Neptune and the gentlest winds of heaven.
I will embrace your offer. Come, dearest madam. Oh, no tears, LYCHORIDA, no tears. Look to your little mistress, on whose grace you may depend hereafter. Come, my lord.
Scene 4 in Ephesus. Enter Ceremon and THAISA.
Madam, this letter and some certain jewels lay with you in your coffer, which are at your command. Know you the character?
It is my lord's. That I was shipped at sea, I well remember, even on my bearing time. But whether they're delivered by the holy gods, I cannot rightly say. But since King Pericles, my wedded lord, I ne'er shall see again, a vestal livery will I take me to, and never have more joy.
Madam, if this you purpose as you speak, Diana's temple is not distant far, where you may abide till your date expire. Moreover, if you please, a niece of mine shall there attend you.
My recompense is thanks, that's all. Yet my goodwill is great, though the gift small.
Act 4, Chorus. Enter GOWER.
Imagine Pericles arrived at Tyre, welcome and settled to his own desire. His woeful queen we leave at Ephesus, unto Diana there's a votress. Now to Marina bend your mind, whom our fast growing scene must find. At Tarsus, and by CLEON trained in music, letters, who hath gained an education, all the grace, what makes high both the art and place of general wonder. But alack, the monster envy off the rack of earned praise Marina's life seeks to take off by treason's knife. And in this kind our CLEON hath one daughter and one full-grown wench, even ripe for marriage right. This maid high Phileton, and it is said for certain in our story she would live ever with Marina be. But when I weave the slighted silk with fingers long, small, white as milk, or when she could with sharp needle wound the cambric, which she made more sound, by hurting it, or when to the lute she sung and made the night bird mute, that still records with rich and constant pen, veiled to her mistress Diane still, this Fullerton contends in skill with absolute Marina. Marina gets all praises which are paid as debts, and not as given. This so darks in Phileton all graceful marks that CLEON's wife, with envy rare, a present murder does prepare. Might stand peerless by this slaughter, the sooner her vile thoughts stood stead. LYCHORIDA, our nurse, is dead. And cursed DIONYZA hath, the pregnant instrument of wrath, pressed for this blow the unborn event. I do commend to your content. DIONYZA does appear with LEONINE, a murderer.
By oath, remember, thou hast sworn to do it. 'Tis but a blow which never shall be known. Thou canst not do a thing in the world so soon to yield thee so much profit. Let not conscience, which is but cold and flaming, thy bosom inflame too nicely, nor let pity, which even women have cast off, melt thee, but be a soldier to thy purpose.
I will do it, but yet she is a goodly creature.
The fitter then, the gods should have her. Here she comes weeping for her only mistress's death. Thou art resolved?
I am resolved.
No, I will wrap Tellus over weed to strew thy green with flowers. The yellows, blues, the purple violets and marigolds shall as the carpet hang upon thy grave while summer days do last. I, me, poor maid, born in a tempest when my mother died. This world to me is like a lasting storm, worrying me from my friends.
How now, Marina? Why do you keep alone? How chance my daughter is not with you? Do not consume your blood with sorrowing. You have a nurse of me. Lord, how your favors change with this unprofitable woe. Come, give me your flowers. O'er the sea marge, walk with Leonine. The air is quick there, and it pierces and sharpens the stomach. Come, Leonine, take her by the arm. Walk with her.
No, I pray you, I'll not grieve you of your servant.
Come, come. I love the king your father and yourself with more than foreign heart. We every day expect him here. When he shall come and find our paragon to all reports thus blasted, he will repent the breath of his great voyage. Blame both my lord and me that we have taken no care to your best courses. Go, I pray you, walk and be cheerful once again. Reserve that excellent complexion which did steal the eyes of young and old. Care not for me, I can go home alone.
Well, I will go, but yet I have not desire to it.
Come, come, I know 'tis good for you. Walk half an hour. Leonine, at the least, remember what I have said.
I warned you, madam.
I'll leave you, my sweet lady, for a while. Pray walk softly, do not heat your blood. But I must have a care of you.
My thanks, sweet madam. Is this wind westerly that blows?
Southwest.
When I was born, the wind was north.
Was it so?
My father, as nurse said, did never fear, but cried good seaman to the sailors, galing his kingly hands, hailing ropes, and clasping to the mast, endured a sea that almost burst the deck.
When was this?
When I was born. Never was waves nor wind more violent, and from the ladder tackle washes off a canvas climber. Huh, says one, wilt out? And with a dropping industry, they skip from stem to stern. The bosun whistles, and the master calls, and trebles their confusion.
Come, say your prayers.
What mean you?
If you require a little space for prayer, I grant it. Pray, but be not tedious, for the gods are quick of ear, and I am sworn to do my work with haste.
Oh, why will you kill me?
To satisfy my lady.
Why would she have me killed? Now, as I can remember by my troth, I never did hurt her in all my life. I never spake a bad word, nor did ill turn to any living creature. Believe me, la, I never killed a mouse, nor hurt a fly. I trod upon a worm against my will, but I wept for it. How if I offended were in my death might yield her any profit, or my life imply her any danger?
My commission is not to reason of the deed, but do it.
You will not do it for all the world, I hope. You are well favored, and your looks foreshow you have a gentle heart. I saw you lately when you got hurt in parting the two that fought. Good sooth, it showed well in you. Do so now. Your lady seeks my life. Come you between, and save poor me, the weaker.
I am sworn and will dispatch.
A prize! A prize!
Come, let's have a word suddenly.
These roving thieves of the great pirates of Aldes, and they have seized Marina. Let her go. There's no hope she will return. I'll swear she's dead and thrown into the sea. But I'll see further. Perhaps they will but please themselves upon her, not carry her aboard. If she must remain, whom they have ravished, must be me, by me be slain.
Scene 2, MYTILENE, a room in a brothel. Enter Pander, BAWD, and Bolt.
Bolt!
Sir?
Search the market narrowly. MYTILENE is full of gallants. I lost too much money with the smart by being too wenchless.
We were never so much out of creatures. We have but poor 3, and they can do no more than they can do, and they with continual action are even as good as rotten.
Therefore, let's have fresh ones, whate'er we pay for them. If there be not a conscience to be used in every trade, we shall never prosper.
Thou sayest true. 'Tis not our bringing up of poor bastards, as I think I have brought up some 11.
Aye, to 11, and brought them down again. But shall I search the market?
What else, man? The stuff we have, a strong wind will blow it to pieces. They are so pitifully sodden.
Thou sayest true. They're too unwholesome, a conscience. The poor Transylvanian is dead that lay with a little baggage.
Aye, she quickly pooped him. She made him roast meat for worms. But I'll go search the market.
3 or 4,000 shekels were as pretty as a proportion to live quietly and so give over.
Why to give over, I pray you? Is it a shame to get when we are old?
Oh, our credit comes not in the commodity, nor the commodity wages not with the danger. Therefore, if in our use we could pick up some pretty estate, 'twere not amiss to keep our door hatched. Besides, the sore terms we stand upon with the gods will be strong with us for giving over.
Other sorts offend as well as we.
As well as we? Aye, and better too. We offend worse. Neither is our profession any trade. It's no calling. But here comes Vought.
Master, I've gone through for this piece, you see. They say she's a virgin, and I doubt it not. If you like her, so. If not, I'll have lost my earnest.
Oh, Vought, has she any qualities?
Oh, she has a good face and speaks well, and has excellent good clothes. There's no further necessity of qualities that can make her refused.
Her price, Vought?
1 doit of 1,000 pieces.
Wife, take her in. Instruct her what she has to do, that she may not be roiled in her entertainment.
Vought, take you marks of her, the color of her hair, complexion, height, her age, with warrant of her virginity, and cry, he that will give most shall have her first. Such a maidenhead were no cheap thing, if men were as they have been. Get this thing done as I command you.
Performance shall follow.
Alack, that Leonine was so slack, so slow. She should have struck, not spoke. Or that these pirates, not enough barbarous, had not overboard thrown me for to seek my mother.
Why lament you, pretty one?
That I am pretty.
Come, the gods have done their part in you.
I accuse them not.
You are light into my hands, where you are like to live.
The more my fault escape his hands, where I was to die.
Aye, and you shall live in pleasure.
No.
Yes, indeed. Indeed shall you, and taste gentlemen of all fashions. You shall fare well, you shall have the difference of all complexions. What? Do you stop your ears?
Are you a woman?
What would you have me be? And I be not a woman.
An honest woman, or not a woman?
Mary, whip the gosling. I think I shall have something to do with you. Come, you're a young foolish sapling, and I must be bowed as I would have you.
The gods defend me.
If it please the gods to defend you by men, then men must comfort you. Men must feed you. Men must stir you up. Vought returned. Now, sir, hast thou cried her through the market?
Oh, I have drawn her picture. I have drawn her picture with my voice.
And I prithee tell me, how dost thou find the inclination of the people? especially of the younger sort.
Oh, Faith, they listened to me as they would have hearkened to her father's testament. There was a Spaniard's mouth so watered that he went to bed to her very description.
We shall have him here tomorrow with his best ruff on.
Oh, tonight.
Pray you, come hither a while. You have fortunes coming upon you. Mark me, you must seem to do that fearfully which you commit willingly. Despise profit where you most have gain. To weep that you live as you do makes pity in your lovers. Seldom but that pity begets you a good opinion, and that opinion a mere profit.
I understand you not.
Oh, take her home, mistress. Take her home. These blushes of hers will be quenched with some present practice.
Thou mayest cut a morsel off the spit.
Oh, I may so.
Bolt, spend that in town. Report what a sojourner we have. You'll lose nothing by custom. When nature framed this piece, she meant thee a good turn. Therefore, say what a paragon she is, and thou hast the harvest out of thine own report.
Oh, I shall not so awake the beds of eels as my giving out her beauty stir up the lewdly inclined. I'll bring home some tonight.
Come your ways. Follow me.
If fires be hot, knives sharp, or waters deep, untied I still my virgin knot will keep. Diana, aid my purpose.
Scene 3, Tarsus, a room in Cleon's house. Enter Cleon and DIONYZA.
Why are you foolish? Can it be undone?
Oh, DIONYZA, such a piece of slaughter, the sun and moon ne'er looked upon. Were I chief lord of all this spacious world, I'd give it to undo the deed. A lady much less in blood and virtue, yet a princess to equal any single crown o' the earth. I the justice of compare. O villain Leonine, whom thou hast poisoned to, what canst thou say when noble Pericles shall demand his child?
That she is dead. Nurses are not the fates. To foster it, not ever to preserve, she died at night. I'll say so. Who can cross it unless you play the pious innocent, and for an honest attribute cry out, she died by foul play?
Oh, go to. Well, well, of all the faults beneath the heavens, the god do like this worst.
Be one of those that think the petty wrens of Tarsus will fly hence and open this to Pericles. I do shame to think of what a noble strain you are, and have outcowered a spirit.
To such proceeding, whoever but his approbation added, though not his prime consent, it did not flow from honorable sources.
Be it so then, yet none does know but you how she came dead, nor none can know. Leonine being gone, she did disdain my child, and stood between her and her fortunes. None would look on her, but cast their gazes on Marina's face, while ours was blurted at and held a malkin, not worth the time of day. It pierced me through, and though you call my course unnatural, you not your child well loving, yet I find it greets me as an enterprise of kindness, performing to your sole daughter.
Heavens forgive it.
And as for Pericles, what should he say? We wept after her hearse, and yet we mourn. Her monument is almost finished, and her epitaphs in glittering gold characters express a gentle praise to her, and care in us at whose expense 'tis done.
Thou art like the harpy, which to betray dost with thine angel's face, seize with thine eagle's talons.
You are like one that superstitiously does swear to the gods that winter kills the flies, but yet I know you'll do as I advise.
Scene 4, enter GOWER before the monument of Marina at Tarsus.
I do beseech you to learn of me, who stand in the gaps to teach you the stages of our story. Pericles is now again thwarting the wayward seas, attended on by many a lord and knight, to see his daughter, all his life's delight. Old Helicanus goes along, behind is left to govern it. You bear in mind old Escanes, whom Helicanus late advanced in time to great and high estate. Well sailing ships and bounteous winds have brought this king to Tarsus, to fetch his daughter home, who first is gone, like motes and shadows, to see them move a while. Your years unto your eyes I'll reconcile.
Oh! Oh!
How belief may suffer by foul show, this borrowed passion stands for old true woe. And Pericles, in sour all devoured, with sighs shot through and biggest tear overshowered, leaves Tarsus, and again embarks. He swears never to wash his face nor cut his hairs. He puts on sackcloth and to sea. He bears a tempest which his mortal vessel tears, and yet he rides it out. Now please you wit, the epitaph is for Marina writ by wicked DIONYZA. The fairest, sweetest, and best lies here, who withered in her spring of year. She was of Tyrus, the king's daughter, of whom foul death have made this slaughter. Marina she was called, and at her birth, Thetis being proud, swallowed some part of the earth. Therefore the earth, fearing to be overflowed, hath Thetis' birth child on the heavens bestowed. Wherefore she does, and swears she'll never stint, make raging battery upon shores of flint. No visor does become black villainy, so well as soft and tender flattery. Let Pericles believe his daughter's dead, and bear his courses to be ordered by Lady Fortune. By while our scene must play his daughter's woe, and heavy well a day in her unholy service. Patience then, and think you now all are in MYTILENE.
Scene 5, MYTILENE, a street before the brothel. Enter first and second gentlemen from the brothel. Did you ever hear the like?
Oh, nor never shall do in such a place as this, she being once gone.
But to have divinity preached there, did you ever dream of such a thing?
No, no. Come, I am for no more bawdy houses. Shall's go hear the Vestal sing?
I'll do anything now that it's virtuous, but I am out of the road of running forever. Scene 6, MYTILENE.
Well, I'd rather than twice the worth of her she had ne'er come here.
Fie, fie upon her! She's able to freeze the god Priapus and undo a whole generation. We must either get ravished or be rid of her. When she should do for her clients her fitment and do me the kindness of our profession, she has me her quirks, her reasons, her master reasons, her prayers, her knees, that she would make a Puritan of the devil if he should cheapen a kiss of her.
Faith, I must ravish her, or she'll just furnish us all our cavalleria and make our swearers priests.
Now the pox upon her green sickness for me.
Faith, there's no way to be ride on it but by the way to the pox. Here comes the Lord LYSIMACHUS disguised.
Hello.
Now the gods to bless your honor.
Oh, I am glad to see your honor in good health.
Myself, is the better view that you daughters sort of stand upon sound legs? How now? How soon in equity have you that man may deal with all and defy the surgeon?
We have one here, sir, if she would, but there never came her like in MYTILENE.
If she do the deeds of darkness, thou wouldst say?
Your honor knows what 'tis to say well enough.
Well, go forth, go forth.
For flesh and blood, sir, white and red, you shall see a rose, and she were a rose indeed. if she had, but
Prithee,
oh, I can be modest.
that dignifies the renown of a BAWD no less than it gives a good report to the number to be chased.
Here comes that which grows to the stalk, never plucked yet, I can assure you. Is she not a fair creature?
Faith, she would serve after a long voyage. Well, there's for you. Leave us.
I beseech your honor, give me leave a word, and I'll have done presently.
I beseech you, do.
First, I would have you note this is an honorable man.
I desire to find him so that I may worthily note him.
Next, he's the governor of this country and a man whom I am bound to.
If he govern the country, you are bound to him indeed, but how honorable he is in that, I know not.
Pray you, without any more virginal fencing, will you use kindly? He will line your apron with gold.
What he will do graciously, I will thankfully receive.
Ah, you're done?
My lord, she's not paced yet. You must make some pains to work her to your manage. Come, we will leave his honor and her together. Go thy ways.
Now, pretty one, how long have you been at this trade?
What trade, sir?
Why, I cannot name it, but I shall offend.
I cannot be offended with my trade. Please you to name it.
How long have you been of this profession?
Since I can remember.
Did you go to it so young? Were you a gamester at 5 or at 7?
Earlier too, sir, if now I be one.
Why, the house you dwell in proclaims you to be a creature of sale.
Do you know this house to be a place of such resort and will come into it? I hear say you're of an honorable parts and are the governor of this place.
Why, hath your principal made known unto you who I am?
Who is my principal?
Why, your herb woman, she that sets seeds and roots of shame and iniquity. Oh, you have heard something of my power, and so stand aloof for more serious wooing. But I protest to thee, pretty one, my authority shall not see thee, or else look friendly upon thee. Come, bring me to some private place. Come, come.
If you were born to honor, show it now. If put upon you, make the judgment good, that thought you worth of it.
How's this? How's this? Some more, be sage.
For me that am a maid, though most ungentle fortune have placed me in the sty, where since I came, diseases have been sold dearer than physic, that the gods would set me free from this unhallowed place, though they did change me to the meanest bird that flies in the pure air.
I do not think thou couldst have spoken so well. Ne'er did dreamt thou couldst, had I brought hither a corrupted mind. Thy speech has altered it. Hold, here's gold for thee. Persevere in that clear way thou goest, and the gods strengthen thee.
The good gods preserve you.
For me, be you thoughtful that I came with no ill intent, for to me the very doors and windows savor vilely. Fare thee well, thou art a piece of virtue, and I doubt not but thy training hath been noble. Hold, here's more gold for thee. A curse upon him, die he like a thief that robs thee of thy goodness. If thou dost hear from me, it shall be for thy good.
I beseech your honor, one piece.
Avaunt, thou damned doorkeeper, your house, but for this virgin that doth prop it, would sink and overwhelm you. away.
How's this? We can have a course with you. Well, if your peevish chastity, which is not worth a breakfast in the cheapest country under the cope, shall undo a whole household, let me be gilded like a spaniel. Come your ways.
Whither would you have me?
I must have your maidenhead taken off, or the common hangman shall execute it. Oh, come your way. We'll have no more gentlemen driven away. Come your ways, I say.
Now, what's the matter?
Oh, worse and worse, mistress. Just spoken holy words to Lord LYSIMACHUS.
Abominable!
He makes our profession as it were to speak a foreface of the gods.
Mary, hang her up forever.
The nobleman would have dealt with her like a nobleman, and she sent him away as cold as a snowball, saying his prayers too.
Bolt, take her away. Use her at thy pleasure. Crack the glass of her virginity, and make the rest malleable.
And she were a thornier piece of ground than she is, she shall be plowed.
Hark, you gods!
Conjures, away with her! Would she had never come within my doors! Mary, hang you! She's born to undo us. Will you not go the way of womankind? Mary, come up, my dish of chastity, with rosemary and bays.
Come, mistress, come your way with me.
Whither wilt thou have me?
To take from you the jewel you hold so dear.
Pretty, tell me one thing first.
Come now, your one thing.
What canst thou wish thine enemy to be?
Oh, why, I could wish him to be my master, or rather, my mistress.
Neither of these are so bad as thou art, since they do better thee in their command. Thou holdst a place for which the painest fiend of hell would not in reputation change. Thou art the damned doorkeeper to every cloister that comes inquiring for his tib. To the choleric fisting of every rogue, thy ear is liable. Thy food is such as hath been belched on by infected lungs.
What would you have me do? Go to the wars? Would you, were you a man, serve 7 years for the loss of a leg and not have enough money in the end to buy a wooden one?
Do anything but this thou doest. Empty old receptacles or common shore of filth. Serve by indenture to the common hangman. Any of these ways are yet better than this. That the gods would safely deliver me from this place. Here is gold for thee. If that thy master would gain by me, proclaim that I can sing, weave, sew, and dance, with other virtues, which I'll keep from boast, and will undertake all these to teach. I doubt not, but this populous city will leave many scholars.
But can you teach all this you speak of?
Prove that I cannot. Take me home again and prostitute me to the basest room that doth frequent your house.
Well, I will see what I can do for thee. If I can place thee, I will.
But amongst the honest women?
Faith, my acquaintance lies little among them. But since my master and mistress hath bought you, there's no going but by their consent. Therefore, I will make them acquainted with your purpose, and I doubt not, but I shall find them tractable enough. Come, I'll do for thee what I can. Come your ways.
Act 5, Chorus. Enter GOWER.
Marina thus the brother escapes and chances into an honest house, our story says. She signs like one immortal, and she dances as gods like to her admired lays. Deep clerks she dumbs, and with her reel composes nature's own shape of bud, birch, branch, or chip berry, that even her art sisters, the natural roses, her inside, silk, twin, and rubbed cherry, that pupils lack she none of noble race. who for their bounty honor, and her gain she gives the cursed bawd. Here we her place, and to her father turn our thoughts again. Where we left him, on the sea. We there him lost, where, driven by before the winds, he is arrived, here, where his daughter dwells. And on this coast, suppose him now, at anchor. The city strived gods Neptune's annual feast to keep, from whence LYSIMACHUS our TYRIAN ship espies, his banners sable trimmed with rich expense, and to him in his barge with fervor eyes. In your supporting once more put your sight of heavy Pericles. Think this his bark, where what is done in action, more if might, shall be discovered. Please you sit and hark.
Scene 1, on board Pericles' ship off MYTILENE. A close pavilion on deck with a curtain before it. Pericles within it reclined on a couch. A barge lying beside the Tyrian vessel. Enter Tyrian sailor and LYCHORIDA.
Sir, there's a barge put off from Mytilene, and in it LYSIMACHUS, the governor, who craves to come abroad. What is your will?
That he have his. I pray, greet him fairly.
Sir, this is the man that can, in aught you would, resolve you.
Hail, Reverend Sir, may God preserve you. I am governor of this place you lie before.
And you, sir, to outlive the age I am, and die as I would do.
You wish me well, being on shore, honoring of Neptune's triumphs, seeing this goodly vessel ride before us, I may to know of whence you are.
Sir, our vessel is of Tyre, in it the king, a man who for his 3 months hath not spoken to any one, nor taken sustenance but to prorogue his grief.
Upon what ground is his distemperature?
'Twould be too tedious to repeat, but the main grief springs from the loss of a beloved daughter and a wife.
May we not see him?
You may, but bootless is your sight. He will not speak to any. Behold him.
Pericles is revealed behind the curtain.
This was a goodly person, till the disaster that one mortal night drove him to this.
The king! All hail! God preserve you! Hail, royal sire!
It is in vain. He will not speak to you.
Sir, we have a maid in Mytilene. I durst wager would win some words of him.
It will be thought. He questioned us with her sweet harmony, and other chosen attractions would allure and make a battery through his defended ports, which now are midway stopped. He is all happy as the fairest of all.
Sure, all effectless, yet no thing will omit that bears recovery's name. But since your kindness we have stretched thus far, let us beseech you that for our gold we may provision have, wherein we are not destitute for want, but weary for the staleness.
Oh, sir, the most just God for every quaff would send a caterpillar, and so afflict our province. Yet once more let me entreat to know at large the cause of your king's sorrow. Oh, here's the lady that I sent for. Welcome, fair one. Is not a goodly presence?
She's a gallant lady.
She's such a one that, were I well assured, came of a gentle kind and noble stock, I'd wish no better choice, and think me rarely wed. Fair one, all goodness that consists in beauty, expect even here, wherein this kingly patient, that thy prosperous and artificial feet can draw him but to answer thee in aught. Thy sacred physic shall receive such pay as thou desires can wish.
Sir, I will use my utmost skill in his recovery. provided that none but I and my companion maid be suffered to come near him.
Come, let us leave her, and the gods make her prosperous.
No, 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 no. Hail, sir, my lord, land here. I am a maid, my lord, that never before invited eyes, but have been gazed on like a comet. She speaks, my lord, that maybe hath endured a grief might equal yours, if both were just weighed. Though wayward fortune did malign my state, my derivation was from ancestors who stood equivalent with mighty kings. But time hath rooted out my parentage, and to the world and upward casualties bound me in servitude. I will desist, but there is something glows upon my cheek and whispers in my ear, go not till he speak.
My fortunes, parentage, good parentage, to equal mine, was it not thus? What say you?
I said, my lord, if you did know my parentage, you would not do me violence.
I do think so. Pray you, turn eyes upon me. You are like something that... What countrywoman, here of these shores?
No, nor of any shores. Yet I was mortally brought forth, and am no other than I appear.
I am great with woe, and shall deliver weeping. My dearest wife was like this maid, and such a one my daughter might have been. My queen's square brows, her stature to an inch, and wand-like straight, as silver-voiced her eyes, as jewel-like, encased as richly in pace another Juno, who starves the ears she feeds, and makes them hungry the more she gives them speech. Where do you live?
Where I am but a stranger. From the deck you may discern the place.
Where were you bred? And how achieved you this endowments which you make more rich to owe?
If I should tell my history, it would seem like lies disdained in the reporting.
Prithee speak. Falseness cannot come from thee, for thou lookest modest as justice, and thou seemst a palace for the crowned truth to dwell in. I will believe thee, and make my senses credit thy relation to points that seem impossible, for thou lookest like one I loved indeed. What were thy friends? Didst thou not say, when I did push thee back, from when I perceived thee, that thou camest from good descending?
So indeed I did.
Report thy parentage. I think thou saidst thou hadst been tossed from wrong to injury, and thou thoughtst thy griefs might equal mine if they were open. Tell thy story. If thine considered prove the 1,000th part of mine endurance, thou art a man, and I have suffered like a girl. Yet thou dost look like patience, gazing on kings' graves and smiling extremity out of act. What were thy friends? How lost thou them? Thy name, most kind virgin, recount, I do beseech thee. Come, sit by me.
My name is Marina.
Oh, I am mocked. And thou by some insensate god sent hither to make the world laugh at me.
Patience, good sir, or here I'll cease.
Nay, nay, I'll be patient. Thou little knowest how thou dost startle me to call thyself Marina.
The name was given me by one that had some power, my father and a king.
How? A king's daughter, and called Marina? But are you flesh and blood? Have you a working pulse and are no fairy motion? Well, speak on. Where were you born, and wherefore called Marina?
Called Marina, for I was born at sea.
At sea? What mother?
My mother was the daughter of a king, who died the minute I was born, as my good nurse, LYCHORIDA, had oft delivered weeping.
Oh, stop there a little. This is the rarest dream that ere dull sleep did mock sad fools with. This cannot be, my daughter buried. Well, where were you bred? I'll hear you more to the bottom of your story and never interrupt you.
You scorn. Leave me. To our best I did GOWER.
I will believe you to the syllable of what you shall deliver. Yet, give me leave. How came you in these parts? Where were you bred?
The king, my father, did in TARSUS leave me, till cruel CLEON with his wicked wife did seek to murder me, and having would a villain to attempt it, who, having drawn to do it, a crew of pirates came and rescued me, brought me to MYTILENE. But, good sir, whither will you have me? Why do you weep? It may be you think me an impostor. No, good faith. I am the daughter to King Pericles, if good King Pericles be.
Oh! Helicanus!
Calls, my lord?
Thou art a grave and noble counselor, most wise in general. Tell me, if thou canst, what this maid is, or what is like to be, that thus hath made me.
I know not. But here is the regent, sir, of MYTILENE. Speaks nobly of her.
Who would never tell her parentage? Being demanded that, she would sit still and weep.
Oh, Helicanus, strike me, honored sir. Give me a gash, put me to present pain, lest this great sea of joys rushing upon me o'erbear the shores of my mortality and drown me with their sweetness. Oh, come hither, thou that begetst him that did thee beget, thou that was born at sea, buried at TARSUS, and found at sea again. Oh, Helicanus, down on thy knees, thank the holy gods as loud as thunder threaten us. This is Marina. What was thy mother's name? Tell me but that, for truth can never be confirmed enough, though doubts did ever sleep.
First, sir, I pray, what is your title?
I am Pericles of Tyre. But tell me now, my drowned queen's name, as in the rest you said, thou hast been godlike, perfect, the heir of kingdoms, and another like to Pericles thy father.
Is it no more to be your daughter than to say my mother's name was THAISA? THAISA was my mother, who did end the minute I began.
Oh, a blessing on thee, rise! Thou art my child. Give me fresh garments. Mine own Helicanus, she is not dead at TARSUS, as she should have been by savage CLEON. She shall tell thee all, when thou shalt kneel and justify in knowledge she is thy very princess. Who is this?
Sir, 'tis the governor of MYTILENE, who, hearing of your melancholy state, did come to see you.
I embrace you. Give me my robes. I am wild with my beholding. Oh, heavens, bless my girl. But hark, what music? Tell Helicanus, my Marina, tell him o'er point by point, for yet he seems to doubt how sure you are my daughter. But what music?
My lord, I hear none.
None? The music of the spheres, List, my Marina, rarest sound do you not hear?
Music? My lord, I hear...
Most heavenly music, it nips me to listening, and thick slumber hangs upon my eyes. Oh, let me rest.
A pillow for his head. Or leave him off. Well, my companion friends, if this won't answer to my just belief, I'll well remember you.
My temple stands in Ephesus. Hie thee thither and do upon mine altar sacrifice. There, when my maiden priests are met together, before the people all, reveal how thou at sea didst lose thy wife, to mourn thy crosses with thy daughters call and give them repetition to the life. Or perform my bidding, or thou livest in woe. Do it, and be happy by my silver bow. Awake and tell thy dream.
Goddess Argentine, I will obey thee, celestial Diane. Helicanus.
Sir?
My purpose was for Tarsus, there to strike the inhospitable CLEON. But I am for other service first. Toward Ephesus, turn our blown sails. Eftsoons I'll tell thee why. Shall we refresh us, sir, upon your shore, and give you gold for such provision as our intents will need?
With all my heart. And when you come ashore, I'll have another suit.
You shall prevail. Were it to woo my daughter, for it seems you have been noble towards her.
Here, lend me your arm.
Come, my Marina.
Scene 2. Enter GOWER before the temple of Diana at Ephesus.
Now our sands are almost run, more little and then dumb. This my last boon give me, for such kindness must relieve me. That you aptly will suppose what pageantry, what feats, what shows, what minstrelsy, and pretty din the regent made in Mytilene. To greet the king, so he thrived, that he is promised to be wived to fair Marina, but in no wise, till he had done his sacrifice. As Dian bade, whereto being bound, the interim pray you all confound. In feathered briefness, sails are filled, and wishes fall out as they're willed. At Ephesus, the temple see our king and all his company. That he can hither come so soon is by your fancies thankful doom.
Scene 3. The temple of Diana at Ephesus. Enter Ceremon and Diana's priestesses, including THAISA from another door. Enter Pericles with his train. Lysimachus, Helicanus, Marina, and attendants.
Hail, Diane. To perform thy just command, I here confess myself the king of Tyre, who, frightened from my country, did wed at Pentapolis the fair THAISA. At sea in childbed she died she, but brought forth a maid child called Marina, whom, O goddess, wears yet thy silvery livery. She at Tarsus was nursed with CLEON, who at 14 years he sought to murder, but her better stars brought her to Mytilene, against whose shore riding her fortunes brought the maid aboard us, where by her own most clear remembrance she made known herself my daughter.
Voice and favor, you are oh, royal Pericles!
She faints.
What means the nun? She dies? Help, gentlemen!
And noble sir, if you have told Diana's altar true, this is your wife.
Reverend Appear, no. I threw her overboard with these very arms.
Upon this coast, I warrant you.
'Tis most certain.
Look to the lady. Oh, she's but o'erjoyed. Early one blustering morn, this lady was thrown upon this shore. I oped the coffin, found their rich jewels, recovered her, and placed her here in Diane's temple.
May we see them?
Great sir, they shall be brought you to my house, whither I invite you. Look, THAISA is recovered.
Recover, THAISA.
If he be none of mine, sanctity will be to sense bend no licentious ear, but curb it, bite of seeing. O my Lord, are you not Pericles? Like him you spake, like him you are. Did you not name a tempest, a birth, and a death?
The voice of dead THAISA.
That THAISA I am, supposed dead and drowned.
Immortal Diane!
Now I know you better. When we with tears parted Pentapolis, the Kane my father gave you such a ring.
This, no more, you gods. You present your present kindness makes my past misery sports. You shall do well that on the touching of her lips I may melt and no more be seen. Oh, come, be buried a second time within these arms.
My heart leaps to be gone into my mother's bosom.
Look, who kneels here? Flesh of thy flesh, THAISA, thy burden at the sea, and called Marina, for she was yielded there.
Blessed and mine own.
Hail, madam, and my queen.
I know you not.
You have heard me say when I did fly from Tyre, I left behind an ancient substitute. Can you remember what I called the man? I have named him oft.
'Twas Helicanus then.
Still confirmation. Embrace him, dear THAISA. This is he. Now do I long to hear how you were found, how possibly preserved, and who to thank besides the gods for this great miracle.
Lord Saramon, my lord, this man through whom the gods have shown their power that can from first to last resolve you.
Reverend sir, the gods can have no mortal officer more like a god than you. Will you deliver how this dead queen relives?
I will, my lord. Beseech you, first go with me to my house, where shall be shown you all was found with her. How she came placed here in the temple, no needful thing omitted.
Good Diane, bless thee for thy vision. I will offer night oblations to thee. THAISA, this prince, the fair betrothed of your daughter, shall marry her at Pentapolis. And now this ornament makes me look dismal, will I clip to form. And what this 14 years no razor touched, to grace thy marriage day, I'll beautify.
Lord Saramon hath letters of good credit, sir. My father's dead.
Heavens, make a star of him. Yet there, my queen, we'll celebrate our nuptials, and ourselves will in that kingdom spend our following days. Our son and daughter shall in Tyrus reign. Lord Saramon, we do our longing stay to hear the rest untold. Sir, lead us the way.
Epilogue. Enter GOWER.
In Antiochus and his daughter you have heard of monstrous lust, the due and just reward in Pericles, the queen and his daughter seen, although assailed with fortune, fierce and keen, virtue preserved from fell destruction's blast, led on by heaven, and crowned with joy at last. In Helicanus you may well descry a figure of truth, of faith, of loyalty. In reverend ceremony there well appears the worth that learned charity eye wears. For wicked CLEON and his wife, when fame had spread their cursed deed to the honored name of Pericles, to rage the city turned, that him and his they in his palace burn. The gods for murder seemed so content to punish, although not done but meant. So on your patience, evermore attending, no joy wait on you, here our play has ended.
Yay!
Yay!